I'm sitting here in front of my fireplace on this very cold day in Denver. It is January 20th, 25, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. This is a powerful day to reflect on the leadership and the messages that he brought alive in the world around equality and kindness and greatness. I collected these pieces of wood during the COVID pandemic. When we were in lockdown, I went to the golf course near my house pretty much on a daily basis. And I walked through the grounds and I sat next to the lake, and it was an opportunity for me to connect with nature and to ground down into some health. And on one of my walks in the golf course, I found a fallen tree branch that was so interesting. So I carried that tree branch home with me, and these are parts of that tree branch. And I put them in this vase. It's really cool. There's just some really wonderful shapes there. Look at all of that. But these branches have been in this vase as a decoration in my house since the COVID pandemic. But here I am in front of my fireplace, holding them, hugging them. Oh my gosh, I'm really feeling what's about ready to happen, because I'm sitting here on this day in history where Trump is also preparing to be inaugurated in the office of presidency on MLK Day, nonetheless. Like, this really brings to light the black and white, the shadow and light, the polarities that are so present in our humanity. And so this day is sad for me. It's filled with sorrow and heaviness and concern and apprehension. There is definitely a weight today. There's a weight to today. And I want to honor all of that emotionality that I feel and that many people that I know feel. It's a really powerful turning point in the era of our lives. And I want to be with that charge with intention and with care. And that's what's guiding me to say it's time to release these branches today. Wow. The COVID pandemic is over. Yes, we are still dealing with so many ramifications of all of the global shutdowns and all of the system collapses that happened during COVID. But for the most part, lockdowns are done and we're all moving out into the world, finding ourselves in this world that has emerged post-pandemic. And it was a global crisis, and the effects of it we're feeling. I mean, even the vote of this president is an effect of the intensity of that pandemic experience. And so today, holy moly, I'm sure there's going to be tears involved with this process, as I'm going to be burning these branches as an act of release, as an act of letting go of the COVID pandemic in my life, in the isolation that it caused, in so many layers of influence that the COVID pandemic brought into my life. I want to release that, while also at the same time bracing for the next pandemic that is starting today, the Trump pandemic. And that pandemic might not necessarily be a pandemic of the body, but it will definitely be a pandemic of the mind and of the spirit. From my perspective, the Trump pandemic is rooted in the disease of division, oppression, fear, greed, chaos. And systems are going to be dismantled, and resources are going to be taken away from the vulnerable. And hatred is going to be emboldened on a global scale. And that's big energy to be with. And so as the collapse and the chaos happens in my life, in the collective, my hope is that something good rises up from the ashes. Something good rises up from the destruction that we're collectively causing. And my hope is that good serves all of humanity and the planet and the generations to come. That's a big prayer. I have a lot of emotions around what the future holds. And to prepare space and room for that, I feel like releasing this will help me prepare and fortify myself for the next pandemic, for the Trump pandemic. That's what I'm calling it in my life. Martin Luther King has a quote that I'm seeing a lot of on various social media platforms. And he said something to the effect of, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. I feel like our times are missing leaders and speakers and orators and individuals that speak those messages and live those messages on a grand global scale. And it breaks my heart that the officials that are being elected into our government aren't being elected because of high ideals of goodness and kindness and compassion and care and collaboration. And so as I reflect on Dr. King's message, I recognize that yes, we are going to need strong voices and we're going to need strong actions to deal and live and survive and grow through this Trump pandemic over the coming years. However, as I do it, I don't want to be burdened by hate. And I have to check myself on that quite often. And so my prayer that I want to cultivate today and continually cultivate is that even though the future and the challenges ahead look almost insurmountable, that through that process I can continually come back to love and to kindness and to compassion and care and forgiveness for myself and for others. And that I can continually redevote myself to being a light in all of the dark shadows that are coming up all over the place. So today I'm going to release these branches and utilize this fire to fortify myself as well with courage and with commitment and to an inner light that can't be destroyed through this time. And so that's my prayer for me, and I'm sharing it with you so that maybe seeing how a simple ceremony like this can support you, can inspire you, can hold you during these powerful times. And I hope that we're all able to step up and do better and add a bit more light into these times. Sending you a prayer from my heart to yours. Blessings, blessings, blessings.